It's already been 7 days, 1 week since the Switch 2 released on June 5th, 2025. So I want to wish everybody happy 7 days, 1 week on the release of the Switch 2. I'm pretty sure that if you did pick one up, you're loving it, unless you're one of those folks that picked it up at a GameStop in New York City and got your screen stapled on. So I wanted to jump in and do a quick Nintendo Switch 2 haul, just showing you guys what I picked up and even a quick review 7 days later on the Switch 2. So I picked mine up at Best Buy. I did the midnight release at Best Buy. Shout out to Best Buy for holding it down. I actually did pre-order it at Target and I got lucky with a pre-order, but Target was being shaky in terms of the release day, and I wasn't sure if it was going to come the following week or the same weekend. But being a game head, I needed it as soon as I could, and jumped over to Best Buy to pick it up. Still have the Target one, and I'm probably going to return it, but yeah, shout out to Best Buy. But let's get right into the haul. Let's not waste any time. So of course we have the Switch 2, which is a beautiful piece of device, beautiful upgrade to the Switch. So upgraded screen, I forget if it's, what is it, 7 inches, 8 inches? I forget right now. I think I have something here from this case, but some sticky stuff here. But yeah, guys, so Switch 2, Mario Kart bundle. Joy-Cons are a much needed upgrade, nice quality upgrade, I would say. Still not digging the flat kind of, controller here, but I'm waiting for the D-brand case. I'm waiting for the Satisfy case as well to come in. So once I get those, I'll make a video on those. And so that's the Switch 2. I picked up the Switch 2 Pro controller at Costco, actually. So Costco has it for $74.99, which is a $10 savings compared to any other retailer. Your Best Buys, your Targets, Walmarts, you name it. So this controller is, I'm actually digging it. I'm loving it a lot. Very premium, very good quality. Doesn't really smudge. I would say it feels really good in the hands. It feels good from a quality perspective, and it has these 2 programmable macro buttons in the back, which is really pretty sweet. Has your earphone jack, which I don't know how many people are actually using that, but it's nice that they have it. I'm sure there's going to be wired headphones being made for the Switch 2, so definitely will come in handy. Obviously has your new C button, which is basically, it's a paywall to use this thing to party chat, jump into the, your live chat, live video chat with your friends, which is a pretty cool feature, I would say, but pretty pricey controller at the end of the day, I would say. Is it a must-have? I mean, it depends. If you play docked a lot, then I would say yes, it's worth it. But you can still use, all of your Switch 1 controllers. So in the realm of controllers, I actually picked up the Joy-Con 2 charging grip, and I'm not sure why I picked it up, but has more so to do with co-op, right? So when some friends come over, I can just use this, even though the Switch did come with this, which is just a plain old, just a Joy-Con grip here. So, I mean, that's fine, but I did like that you can charge your Joy-Cons through this, and it also has programmable buttons on the back. So I think that's pretty neat. This rang me about $40 at Best Buy. I also picked up the Nintendo Switch 2 camera. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to use it yet, but I will use it soon. I mean, when it comes to the camera, you can use any USB-C camera. So the same camera that you use for Zoom on your business calls, you can use for your Switch 2. So it's kind of just a nice to have, not a need, I would say. I'm very curious about the quality. I'm pretty sure it's not, the greatest, but whatever. I picked it up. This is the box. One of my favorite pickups is the Nintendo GameCube controller. So I got lucky with this one on the Nintendo website. I pre-ordered it and it came on launch day. So Nintendo was quick with shipping it. I still haven't unboxed this. I'm actually waiting for the Switch Online expansion pack to drop the Pokemon GameCube games, which I actually have physically, but it'll be cool to play those on the Switch through the online expansion. So I'm waiting, I'm holding tight. It would be cool if they dropped the black one on this, but these controllers is like, they go live and then they're out of stock, and they're on StockX, they're on eBay for, almost double the price. It's kind of insane. But, if you do see these in stock on the Nintendo website and you do want one, then pick it up because they come and go. I still have my Nintendo 64 one and the Super Nintendo ones as well. On the games side of things, I picked up a few titles. Definitely wanted to pick up a few titles for launch. So I got Cyberpunk, and the reason that I got Cyberpunk, despite it being a damn near 5-year-old game, is because it's all full on cart. So the entire game and the DLC is on the cart. So I already used that code, so no worries there. But yeah, the entire game is on the cart. It is $70, so it is pretty expensive, but kind of just from the perspective of it being the first launch game and everything being on the cart, obviously it stood out as one of the first games full on the cart at launch, because most of these games are game key cards, which is probably the most controversial thing going on with Nintendo and with the Switch 2 as a whole. The entire conversation on if you actually own your stuff, you own your games. I kind of initially settled on not buying game key cards, but the reality is that you can still trade it in and get your money out of it, on the used market if I so decide to, because you can't run the game without the cart. And so it does suck. I don't, agree with it. I wish it was all on the cart. And yes, it is essentially just a piece of plastic that, that the cartridge is at this point. But Yakuza 0 was one of the games that I wanted to pick up. And that's because this is the remastered version of the first Yakuza, the prequel Yakuza 0, which finally has some English dub. So if you've never played Yakuza 0 in particular, it's just subtitles. So this game is nothing but subtitles. So the fact that it launched on Switch and it has some English dub, I don't think it's the first game. I'm sorry. I don't think it's the entire game, but there's like a certain amount of English dub in the game. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I do like Yakuza. I think Yakuza is a pretty cool franchise. Bravely Default is my third and final physical pickup for the Switch 2. So, I hear nothing but good things about it. I never played it on the 3DS. 3DS was when I was on a hiatus from gaming. And I actually did pick up the physical for Bravely Default on the 3DS, but never got around to playing it. And so I did start it. It's pretty good so far. Started Yakuza as well. Did start it, excited to get through it, and I'm loving it. I'm liking it. Also a game key card, unfortunately, but what are you gonna do? And on the Switch side, on the digital side of things, I did buy a couple of games. So Best Buy, you get these gift certificates, and I had a $20 gift certificate with all of the money that I spent at Best Buy. So I got the welcome tour for free. Haven't really dove into it that much, to be honest, yet, but I'll give it a go at some point. And then Fast Fusion. So Fast Fusion is another game that I was looking forward to. It's a cool game. I played it for a bit. There's no online co-op, if I'm not mistaken, so I was kind of like, eh. But it's kind of just a game that shows you the capabilities of the Switch 2. In terms of the graphics, solid visuals on this game. It looks really, really good. And it's probably a game that's a lot of fun co-op. So outside of that, digging Pokemon Violet. The upgrade that I got is just beautiful, man. If you like Pokemon and you got into Violet, Scarlet Violet, the upgrade is just, man, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Shiny hunting is easier, and overall the game's visuals just, let's be honest, it looks the way that it should have when it first dropped. So in terms of the Switch itself, I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far. If you're a Nintendo guy or gal, then I think you'll like it, especially if you had the Switch 1, especially if you have a big library for the Switch 1. The screen size is really, really nice, especially in a day and age where PC handhelds are coming out left and right, and they're just coming out with way bigger screens. Obviously, the Switch 1 is just super outdated in terms of that. You also get a nice boost depending on which game. So games, and a lot of people are posting, testing out different games. So a lot of games just run generally better on the Switch 2, games that were made on Switch 1. So they load faster. Not all of them got visual upgrades. I'm not saying that, but they just generally run better, smoother, faster kind of thing. And it's a nice upgrade for sure. The Joy-Cons feel really nice, although these things are expensive as hell. So $94.99 for Joy-Cons, but super satisfying. Click right in. They're magnets. They're no longer the rails. I never had any issues with my Joy-Cons or with stick drift or any issues with the rails, but I think this is a much needed upgrade for sure. The kickstand is really nice. So it's kind of the upgraded kickstand that came on the OLED, right? So the first Switch 1 had a pretty shitty kickstand, and this one has kind of the same capabilities of the OLED in terms of the kickstand. So it goes all the way back and it sits nicely down like that. So kickstand is solid for sure. Is it worth the upgrade? It's only really worth the upgrade if you're a huge enthusiast, if you have a big library, if you want to play like the Mario Kart Worlds, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Personally, I know you guys do see some non-exclusives, but I'm more focused on the Nintendo exclusives for the Switch. Anything that's not a Nintendo exclusive, I'm more so gravitating these days towards PC, towards PS5, Xbox, mostly because of Game Pass, mostly because of obviously just the performance boost. Man, I think I had this stupid case on it, and I have some sticky residue here, so I got to take that off, like this Velcro thing. You guys see that? Can you see that? Anyway, it's coming right off. All right, cool, whatever. All right, we're good. So yeah, if you're a huge enthusiast, if you love Nintendo, if you were just waiting for an upgrade, then definitely go for it. You're gonna love it. The docked experience is way better. You're talking about 120 frames per second on some games, depending on the game. It's finally on par with modern standards of gaming, right? So are you going to be impressed if you play PS5 and Series X? It's not going to be groundbreaking, but just from the perspective of the Switch, it is very groundbreaking. And I think the Switch and Nintendo just has its own charm, right? Like Nintendo has its own thing going for it. Nintendo has never been chasing the latest and greatest tech and power and specs and all that. And you know, I respect them for that, and it's one of the reasons why I've stood tight with Nintendo. I still love their products, and yeah. So this video is already super long, but I'm loving the Switch 2 in a nutshell. It runs faster. It looks amazing. Like, it looks way better than the Switch 1 could ever dream of looking, obviously, because it's an almost 10-year Android tablet. And this is not, you know, this is something completely out of that stratosphere. And it's been a lot of fun, honestly. It's been a lot of fun. Everything is premium in my perspective. So, you know, I do think they could improve in terms of the battery life. I can't wait to see, you know, what third-party companies make for like Joy-Con grips, like they do for the Switch 1 with the mobile pad. And what's the other one? Cracked Nitro, the Nitro deck, the Cracked. So, you know, I'm excited to see what third-party companies make in terms of accessories, but you know, in terms of feedback or room for improvement, obviously the battery is not all that. It lasts about 2.5 hours on handheld, depending on what it is that you're playing. You know, if you're playing like a Cyberpunk, the best you're going to get is maybe 2 hours, something like that. Handheld without a charger. But it all varies, right? So I'm not complaining. I play 2 hours at a time anyway. So anyways, guys, that was my quick haul / mini review after 1 week with the Nintendo Switch 2. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you guys, because I know people don't generally make it this far in watch time for my videos anyway. So I appreciate that. If you want to add your boy on Switch, feel free to do so. Here is my friend code. And happy Switch 2. I'm excited to start this generation. Whole new vibe, whole new console. So let's go. Let's do it. Until next time. Peace.